Hello, and welcome to the fourth part of the series where we will continue where we have left off from the last tutorial. So on the list, we have our pagination that needs setting up, so let's get started with that. So before we actually get started with the request itself, what I'm going to do is I've forgotten to make some slight adjustments to our fetch initial products request. So we just need to make sure that these variables are set when the fetch initial products have been executed successfully. So what I'm going to do is scroll all the way down here and copy this data path and make this conditional. Okay, well, that was a weird one. Open this up. And we want to make sure that this is executed when it's 200. And then we want to apply the same exact. That is so weird. This never happened before. You know what? I'm going to do the same for the others. It's a very weird bug. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and paste this in. Okay, perfect. Let's just check. All right, let's reload this page one more time. Oh, the execute on server has been unchecked. That is so weird. Okay, perfect. It is working now. Awesome. So what we're going to do is move on to creating our next request. So we're going to duplicate this, and I'm going to call this fetch next set of products. So we don't need to make any changes here. We don't need to make any changes here. So the only change that we need to make is in the body. So I'm going to open this up, and I already went ahead and copied the body for this. So I'm going to paste that in here. Okay, now let me just quickly walk you through as to what changed. So in this body here, you'll find that this is exactly the same as our fetch initial products request. The only difference is that on the top portion of it, you'll notice that we're requesting for the first 12 items after the next pagination value. So if you remember correctly from our earlier tutorial, the next pagination value contains the cursor value, and we need the cursor value for our pagination. So basically we tell Shopify that, hey, based on this value, we want to grab the items after this item exactly. So the same logic applies for both previous and next as well. So bearing that in mind, we're just going to go ahead and click on done. But we do need to make further adjustments on the after request. Now on the after request, we need to make sure to change this to 2 because this is the second request. So, sorry, a request that is labeled as number 2. And we need to change this to data path of 2. And then we have vnext. Okay, so this one has to be set to 2. Same story here as well. I'm going to quickly go ahead and change that straight from here. Okay. Next pagination value. So we also need to create a pagination value. So what we're going to do is click on set variable and then select set condition. Copy this. All right, I need to create that. So we're going to call this prev pagination value. Save that and select that again. And okay, so we're going to have to set this later on. So what we're going to do Okay, so we're going to have to reset this back on. All right, so let's go ahead and run this request and see if this works. Perfect, it works. And you'll notice that it has reflected on our page here as well. So this has grabbed on, so this has fetched the next set of items. Perfect, this is working beautifully. Now that it is working properly, what we're gonna do is go ahead and set our prev pagination value again, because we have the data path for this now. So this is going to be, oh right, this is, oh shoot. Yeah, it's that weird bug again. Okay, how do I tackle this? Okay, oh, I just remembered. I'm just gonna reset this and copy the cursor value. This is the data path. Copy this, and now I can finally add my variable. Now, because we're setting the value for the prev pagination value, we can use a hard value for this, because this just clearly states that we are targeting the cursor value for the first element that is fetched by the request. So yeah, we're gonna copy this here and then set the condition. Okay, alrighty. So let's let's just run this one more time just to see everything's working fine. I'm going to execute the request. Okay, perfect. It runs beautifully. Okay, but we also still need to make some few adjustments. Firstly, we need to get rid of the trigger. So currently, because we copied this from our fetch initial product, so we just need to make sure to get rid of the trigger. And we also, next item available, there we go. The next pagination value, if we open this up, you'll notice that, okay, so I've just changed this to to 2, because previously it was 1, and I needed to make sure that the data path is actually connected to the second request, which is the fetch next set of products. So let's reload this page one more time. Okay, we run this request. Perfect. Let's run this request one more time. Okay, let's run this request and try to get to the end of the page. All right, perfect. So this is right at the end of the page. And if we scroll down, so as you can see, it has next page set to false. That means we don't have any more items to paginate through. So that's that for the fetch next set of products. So what we're going to do is duplicate this request one more time, and we're going to call this fetch previous set of products. And again, everything stays the same, but we need to make adjustments to the body itself. So we have first over here, but instead of first, we're going to say last. And instead of after, we're going to edit this to before, and instead of next pagination value, we're going to change this to our variable that says prev pagination value. So, okay, now that is out of the way. Just like our adjustments for the second data path, we're going to do this for the third request here as well. Change everything to 3. And the reason we're changing that is because this is the third request. Well, request that is labeled as number 3. Always keep messing that up. Okay, so this is 3. All right, so let's give it a test drive. Perfect. There we go. It's It's working. All right, let's run it one more time and try to go make our way to the first page. Okay, awesome. It's working. Perfect. And there we go. That's a wrap for our pagination. Now, obviously, we need to assign all these to these elements over here. So let's get started on that. I'm going to go ahead and create our first one. So let me switch the X-ray on, and we have shop product loader. Okay, so set visibility to shop product loader, and so we want to select set visibility, and basically we want this to be visible when, so it's our, this request here is requesting is set to true, or our third request, which is the previous data path, is requesting to true as well. Only then it should be visible. So when the next set of items is requesting, only then our loader is going to be visible, and the same applies for when we're fetching the previous set of products. So let's see this in action. Oh, we won't be able to see this in action because we haven't assigned our buttons yet, but I'm just gonna execute the request from here. Perfect. So let's do this for the previous as well. Amazing, it's working. Okay, let's, oh, we need to move this to the right folder. Okay, let's duplicate this and set visibility to next button. So let's turn on the X-ray shop next button.
Did you mean TV?
Okay. Oh, that's my Alexa going off. Okay, so
did you mean TV?
sorry about that.
No problem.
Okay. All right. So we have the set visibility. Okay. And we only want this when our variable, which has next items available, is set to true. And we're going to duplicate this and set the same for our previous button as well. So we've set the visibility for it. You know what? We're also going to go ahead and set visibility to next button. We're also going to add another configuration to this. So on click, we're going to perform the request of executing the fetch next set of products. And we're going to do the same for our previous button as well. So on click, perform a request, fetch previous set of products. All right, so let's reload this page one more time. Okay, so I think it's probably because I haven't selected the right element. Yep, that's why. All right, let's do this. Okay, so next, let's go all the way to the end of the page. Beautiful. And there you go. We finally wrapped up on the pagination. So that brings us to the end of this tutorial. And on the next one, we will be working on creating the product detail page. So yeah, looking forward to that, and I'll see you on the next one.